Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired cook from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to my latest bread recipe. And in this one I'll show you how to make this amazing sandwich loaf, also known as a Japanese milk loaf. It's soft, very light and delicious, and it's quite easy to make. It's perfect for sandwiches and toast, and kids absolutely love it too. You can view the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on the channel's website. I'll leave a link in the description under the video, or you can click on the eye icon top right of the screen to take you directly to the recipe page. I'd also like to thank my Patreon, PayPal and Super Thanks supporters for their very kind help in producing these tutorial videos. I'll be giving you all a name splash and shout out a little later in the video. Okay, let's get on with today's recipe. Okay, I'll start by making sure that the yeast is alive and healthy. It's always best to test your yeast before starting any bread recipe. So, to the lukewarm milk I'll add my instant dried yeast. Active dried yeast is okay to use too. Next I'll add the sugar. And as it states in the ingredients list, you can use the same weight in honey if you prefer. Right, give that a good mix until the sugar and yeast has dissolved. Okay, I'll set that aside until it activates. If you don't see any activation after 10 minutes, your yeast must be dead and it needs replacing. Right, time to mix the dough. And once again, due to my wonky hand, I'll be using my stand mixer to do this. But as this is only a 62% hydration, you can easily knead this by hand, and you'll need to knead it for 10 minutes. To the bowl I've added the now active dried yeast mixture. Now I'll add the salt to my flour and roughly mix it in. Now add the flour to the bowl and using your dough hook, mix these ingredients until they come together, about 2 minutes. Don't add the butter just yet. For this recipe, the reason you need to hold back on the butter is to allow the gluten strands to partially form first, because the butter coats and slows down the formation of the gluten strands if added too early. And this is why you get a great stringy-like soft texture to this particular style of bread. Once your dough is together, you can now add your soft butter and mix that in too. Once everything's combined, knead the dough for 10 minutes. And this is what it looks like after 5 minutes. And after 10 minutes you should have a beautifully smooth dough. Right, turn out the dough onto a flour-free surface and form it into a ball. Now stretch and tighten up the outer skin of the dough as shown. Now place the dough in a bowl and get it covered. Now I like to use a shower cap for this, as it keeps in the moisture whilst allowing the dough to breathe. These shower caps are available in various colours and patterns on the website shop if you want one. Right, so far so good. Now get it into a nice warm spot to proof. I like to use the oven with just the light bulb on. Now set your timer for 45 minutes. Okay, the loaf tin I'm using is this brilliant deepish one. It's ideal for this kind of loaf. I'll leave a link to my Amazon UK affiliate page in the description box for this one. I've lightly greased mine with a little lard, but oil or butter will do too. Right, I'll set that aside for now. Once the time's up on the first proof, make sure it has at least doubled in size. And as you can see, mine's risen quite nicely. Turn out the dough onto a flour-free surface. And start to knock it back. And that simply means get all of the built-up gas out of it. Once you've done that, form it into a ball again. Now, using your bench scraper, divide the dough into 3 pieces. Now, you can guess these if you wish, but it's always best to weigh each piece and get them all exactly the same size. The finished loaf will look so much better. Once you have all 3 pieces, form each piece into a ball and then roll them into an oval shape as shown. Now allow the dough to rest for 5 minutes. This will make the final shaping so much easier to do. Right, once the time's up, we need to shape them, and this is the most important part of this technique. Now use your rolling pin to roll out the dough as shown. Now, without overlapping, fold each side in to make a long strip. Gently turn the strip over and dust this side with a little flour using your sieve. Now roll that strip into approximately 12 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. If your dough starts tightening up as you're rolling and it's springing back, just let it relax for a minute and then it'll be easier to roll again. Once again, flip it over so you now have the non-floured, sticky side facing upwards. Now pat it and straighten it out a bit and firmly roll the strip towards you as shown. Once you get to the end, firmly nip the dough together. Now do the same with the other 2. Right, place the dough rolls into the greased loaf tin, making sure it's seam side down. Now cover yours with your shower cap again. Now I'm using cling film so you can see them. Now get them back into the warm spot and set your timer for 45 minutes or until the dough reaches the top of the pan. Now this time may vary depending on the temperature of your kitchen. Once your time's up, your dough should have now risen to the top or just below the top of the tin. And as you can see, mine has proofed quite nicely. And it's at this point you need to preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius, that's 340 Fahrenheit or gas mark 3. Once your oven is up to temperature, this beautiful loaf is ready to bake. And the reason we're baking this bread on a low temperature is to keep the loaf as soft as possible. So get it into the oven, and there's no need for any special treatment like steam in this recipe either. All you need to do is get it into the oven and set the timer for 30 minutes. And while that's baking, I hope you don't mind if I give my 3 recipe books a bit of a plug. The books have lots of our favourite recipes from our work kitchens in them. All 3 books are available in the website shop along with lots of other equipment I use in the videos. And by popular demand, the skeleton style oven gloves will soon be available too. Also, we now have a shop open on eBay where we have lots of our products for sale too. So if you want to check that one out, I'll leave a link in the description box below the video. Thanks for your time guys, now back to the recipe. Once the time's up, remove it from the oven. Now, I've baked domestically and professionally for most of my working life, and the one thing that never gets old is the delightful aroma that fills your house when baking bread. It truly is one of the most comforting aromas you can experience. Now turn this gorgeous loaf out of the tin and onto a wire rack. Now you can call it done from here if you wish, but I like to give it a bit more colour. So it's going back into the oven in what I like to call commando style for a further 5 minutes. Once that last 5 minutes are up, place it on a wire rack. And doesn't that look amazing? But we're not quite finished yet. To make the top of the loaf a bit softer, I'm going to rub some of my homemade butter all over it. It also gives the loaf a very attractive and appetizing appearance. And do this while it's still hot, by the way. Okay, I'll let that cool for 20 minutes, and when I come back, I'll let you see the amazing texture of this loaf on the inside, and of course have a little taste. Okay, I'll cut a couple of slices off. And the crust of this particular bread is so very soft that the knife just glides through it, as you can clearly see on the second slice. It has a beautiful light fluffy texture, absolutely perfect sandwich bread. I'll try a piece of that end crust with a little of my homemade butter. Incidentally, I'll be making an updated version of my video on how to make butter very soon, so I hope you look forward to that one, especially considering the price of butter at the moment. Outrageous. That tastes absolutely gorgeous. The best way to see this texture of the bread is to gently tear it open like this. You can see exactly how the structure of the bread is built up. And doesn't that look amazing? Like soft fluffy clouds. If you've never baked bread in your life, you should have absolutely no problem in following this easy recipe. And you'll more than likely give yourself a big pat on the back and a huge thumbs up for this one, guys. It's a very impressive loaf of bread. And as promised at the beginning of the video, here is the latest list of my Patreon, PayPal and Super Thank You button supporters. And they are James Sennett, Richard Barlow, Blair Madsen, Kevin Nemo, Josh Cox, Murdoch, Kevin LaRosa, Bonnie Sue Robertson, Carol Turner, Jens K, Wild Will, Jeremy Lakin, David Tabba, Sandhya Karo, Daniel, Call Not Your Business, Dale Benson, Oblivion Sort, Richard Gendron. Thanks very much, guys. I really do appreciate all that you do in supporting the channel. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in your kitchen and bye for now.